So in the second practice video for the practice problem, we're going to look at using a date time element. So we were looking at formatting a month, days, a year, and and using string manipulators to get the month and short dates and do stuff like that. And we saw some challenges, and we could actually create illegal dates, and the computer wouldn't actually complain on it. So in the current version that we left it, we can select like an illegal date, September 31st, 2013. Only 30 days in September, and it will convert it fine and not complain, because again, we're just doing string manipulations here. And the code is actually quite complicated. We ended up using a big case statement to do some switching, and then whenever we were converting, we had to do our own slashes and commas and stuff like that. So we're going to change this around and just use a date time data type. So I'm going to delete some of this code. We had this big switch statement here. We're not going to use that. We can take care of that all with a date time element. And I am going to just create a date time element. So it's date and time capitalized is the data type. I'm going to give it some name. I'm just going to use DT for date time. And again, even though it can store a date and a time, you can also use it to store just a date or just a time. Now, when we use the calendar type in the actual assignments, you'll be able to just grab the date time right from the calendar or a date picker. It'll give you a date time type. But this time we're still using these control combo boxes, and we still have everything in string. So I'm going to do a convert and to a date time, and I'm going to grab this string which we created earlier, which is just the month, day, year all concatenated together in a format. So it'll convert this string to a date time element. Now once we get it in a date time element, we can do things like display it as a month, grab the day of the month, or grab the short date or things like that very easily from that. So let's just look at that. So for example, I want to grab the short date. Again, I don't have to do any of this formatting. I can just say date time dot to short date, long date, short date string, yeah, or short time. I want to go short date string. So that would give me the short date, and again I can grab the long date from it too. The month number I can also grab, so I can say label month text is equal to, and again I can use my date time dot month and just grab the month. Only difference here is that I have to then add, if I want it as a string, the month will be an integer, and if I want it as a string, I just have to do a quick conversion for this. So this is all the code I have. I'm just formatting my combo boxes into a kind of common date format and converting, using that to convert and create a date time type. And then I can, once I have that date time, I can do all sorts of fun date time manipulation, or date manipulations in this case. So now I can select date, and this will do the same thing. It'll display the month and the short date here, but using a lot less code. And it also will do some error checking. So if I select an illegal date, it should raise an exception. And now later on we can talk about how to catch exceptions like this. And in fact, a better thing to do is to avoid them altogether. Again, here we're allowing users to select illegal dates. And with a date time picker or a calendar, we won't allow them to do that also. So you can also do a lot more complicated things. You can add months, add days. So let's say you need to calculate a shipping date that's 8 days out, 10 days out. You can just add 10 days to a date. It'll take care of all the weird, 31 or 30 days in each month and leap years and all that sort of stuff is all taken care of by the date time object. And so that's a really helpful thing. So that's just shows you how to use date time elements here. And then for the assignment in this unit, you'll have to, instead of using this date time things, we'll switch to using a calendar to choose a date. And I'll have another short video on how to do that.